Welcome to day 5 of the Build a Fundraising Strategy in 5 Days challenge. You've put in the work setting your fundraising goal, building your donor strategy, selecting activities, and creating an action plan. Now, we're focusing on the most important factor in long-term fundraising success, donor stewardship. Fundraising isn't just about getting donations, it's about keeping donors engaged so they continue to support your mission. So by the end of today, you'll know how to build strong relationships with donors to increase retention. You'll be able to communicate impact effectively to inspire continued giving, develop a donor stewardship plan that keeps supporters engaged, and implement strategies to make fundraising sustainable year after year. All right, let's dive in. Okay, step 1, why donor stewardship matters. A nonprofit can't survive on one-time gifts alone. Studies show that repeat donors give 42% more over their lifetime than one-time donors. Yet, many organizations focus heavily on getting new donors instead of nurturing existing ones. So, think of it like a garden. If you plant flowers but never water them, they won't bloom again. Donors are the same way. If they don't feel valued and engaged, they won't give again. A nonprofit I worked with had an abysmal donor retention rate, less than 20%. They were constantly chasing new donors and struggling financially. When we looked deeper, we realized they weren't following up after gifts, never shared impact stories, and only reached out when they needed money. After implementing a simple donor stewardship plan, consistent thank yous, personalized updates, and donor appreciation efforts, their retention rate jumped to 60% in a year. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Identify your donor retention challenges. Answer these questions to evaluate your donor stewardship efforts. Number 1, do you thank donors within 48 hours of their gift? Number 2, do you provide regular updates on how donations are making a difference? Number 3, do you reach out to donors without asking for money? And number 4, do you have a system for re-engaging lapsed donors? I want to tell you a quick story about the thanking donors within 48 hours. I was working for a nonprofit and I was at this fair where there was a whole bunch of us together. And I had a donor approach me and say, I really enjoy giving to your nonprofit. And I was like, oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. And I said, just out of curiosity, why do you enjoy giving to our nonprofit? And she said, well, you're not like that other, and she pointed to another nonprofit there, where you never get thanked. It could be weeks before you get thanked. Y'all always thank the same week. Blew me away. I mean, that was her reason for wanting to donate to us over the other organization. Now, to be fair, the other organization had only one person doing everything. And so obviously it takes longer to get the acknowledgement. But I thought that was just wild. But it goes to show just how donors think. Okay, so if you hear nothing else, I want you to listen to this key takeaway. Stewardship isn't optional. It's the key to long-term sustainable fundraising. All right, step 2, communicating impact effectively. Donors don't just want to give money, They want to make a difference. If they don't see the impact of their gifts, they won't continue giving. So let's say a donor gives $100 to your nonprofit. A month later, they get a generic receipt and hear nothing else. How likely are they to give again? Not very. And if you were like that woman, you probably wouldn't give again. So now imagine they receive a personalized email that says, because of your donation, we provided meals for 20 families this month. Families like Maria's who had been struggling to feed their children after losing their job. Your generosity gave them hope. So, which approach do you think will inspire them to give again? And you can drop that in the comments and let me know what you think. Okay, so it's time for you to take action. So, your action step is to improve your donor communication. So, for each donor type, I want you to write down how you will communicate impact. All right. And so I want you to make sure when you do this that you include the best communication method for them. Maybe it's a personalized email, maybe it's a video, handwritten note, impact report, thank you email, success story, whatever it is. And then write out the impact. So, your monthly gift allowed whatever it is. Your $10,000 gift made whatever possible. Your gift helped, like I said, 20 families, whatever it is. Okay, key takeaway. The more specific you are about impact, the more likely donors will give again. All right, step 3, creating a donor stewardship plan. So stewardship should be intentional and planned, not random. If you don't have a donor engagement plan, you're leaving donor retention to chance. Donor relationships require nurturing, just like personal and professional connections. Imagine only reaching out to a friend when you need something. Eventually, that relationship will weaken. The same applies to donors. If they only hear from you when you're asking for money, they may not feel valued or connected to your mission. A strong stewardship plan ensures consistent engagement, gratitude, and impact communication that keeps donors invested. Rather than waiting until your next fundraising campaign to connect, a structured plan allows you to proactively cultivate relationships through personalized updates, appreciation events, and exclusive insights into your work. By doing so, donors feel like an integral part of your nonprofit's journey. So, increasing their likelihood to give again and at higher levels. All right, so it's your turn. Build your donor stewardship plan. And as you're doing this, a pro tip: stewardship doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to be consistent and personal. So maybe it's a handwritten note, maybe it's an email. In this plan, decide how often you're going to engage them, and then what exactly you're going to do when you do engage. So the key takeaway for this step is that a planned donor engagement strategy leads to higher retention and long-term giving. All right, we are at the last step. Step 4, sustainable fundraising strategies. So nonprofits that rely on one-time emergency fundraising struggle to stay afloat. Sustainable fundraising means building reliable revenue streams that provide financial stability and allow for long-term planning. So instead of scrambling for funding whenever a crisis arises, sustainable nonprofits create consistent giving programs, diversified revenue streams, and strong donor relationships that ensure funding remains steady. So imagine a nonprofit that depends solely on a single annual gala. If the event underperforms or gets canceled, their entire budget is at risk. In contrast, organizations with recurring giving programs, major donor cultivation, corporate sponsorships, and diversified funding activities are far more resilient, adapting to economic shifts and donor fluctuations without jeopardizing their mission. So sustainable fundraising isn't just about financial security, it's about peace of mind, organizational growth, and long-term impact. All right, it's your turn. I want you to strengthen your fundraising sustainability. So check off the strategies that you are currently using. Is it a monthly giving program, major donor cultivation, recurring corporate sponsorships, annual fundraising plan, diversified income streams, grants, events, major gifts, online campaigns, etc.? All right, so the key takeaway for this step is that the more diverse and consistent your fundraising efforts, the more financially stable your nonprofit will be. All right, here is your action step. Identify one area to strengthen in your fundraising stability plan. All right, we've covered so much valuable ground today and through the entire week. But now's the time to put today's information to action. So what do? 1, download today's workbook and complete your donor stewardship plan if you're a society member. Create a strategy to improve donor engagement and retention, which you can do even if you just watch the video. Write a personalized thank you message to one of your donors today. Brainstorm 3 ways to communicate impact to your donors without asking for money. And last, identify one way you can improve your fundraising sustainability. So it's your turn. Drop a comment below answering this question. What's one donor stewardship strategy you'll start using? I'd love to hear it in the comments. We might learn something. All right, so one last reminder, if you're not a society member yet, now is the perfect time to join. The society is designed for nonprofit founders looking to build the infrastructure that supports funding. As a member, you'll gain access to templates, guides, exclusive master classes, and challenges like this one. These resources are designed to help you implement fundraising strategies effectively and efficiently. Plus, the membership is affordable, making it accessible to nonprofits of all sizes. And I'll prove it to you. The light version of the memberships is $10 a month or $99 a year. The standard is $25 a month. And then there's an annual. And then, of course, the all access is more than that. But you can join today and go to the website and look at the different pricing options. So you can join today at nonprofitfounders.club/join society and take your fundraising to the next level. Oh, and we don't just cover fundraising. It's everything, boards, programs, everything that you need to have the foundations for a new nonprofit. All right. Well, you did it. We both did it. But you've built a full fundraising strategy in just 5 days. So now it's time to implement and grow. Keep going. You really are making a difference. And I'll see you in the next video.